What's up, guys? Welcome to the SGN Podcast. I'm your host, Tigo Call, and it's time to break down my top 10 most anticipated games shown at E3 2019. And of course, I'm only going to include games on this list that haven't come out yet. So no DLC like Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, Rage 2, what else? Forza Horizon's Lego thing. None of that stuff is going to be included in this list. It's only going to be future games that haven't come out yet. So at number 10, I have Elven Ring, which is a game developed by From Software and co-written by George R.R. Martin. Now, I'm not a big fan of the whole Dark Souls style of game, because I don't have much time throughout the day. So unfortunately, I can't really afford to just die constantly, get pissed off, and have the rest of my day ruined. A game like that, if you're somebody like me who isn't very good at fast twitch reflex, 1v1 like melee combat, or if you're using a bow and arrow in certain situations, stuff like that. If you're not good at that type of stuff, you're going to have a very, very bad time in a game like Dark Souls, or I guess in this case, Elden Ring, if you're just consistently dying, having to redo the same thing over and over again, and you just don't have enough time to really do it, and take your time and try to do it the correct way. So I do look forward to this because it is co-written by George R.R. Martin. Now, how much is going to have an involvement in it, like in terms of how much the actual story is going to be written by him, remains to be seen. We don't know exactly what it is, but I'm a huge fan of his books. Of course, I'm a huge fan of the Game of Thrones TV series, even though they completely fucked it up. But regardless, I'm interested in it just because of George R.R. Martin, and I will give this game a chance when it does come out. Number 9, I have Gears of War 5, or Gears 5 as they're now calling it. And it's this low on the list just because the trailer itself didn't get me excited. They showed essentially, what was her name? Kate, I think it is. They basically showed her with like multiple faces coming out, which are all the main Gears of War characters. So I guess, yes, they showed a trailer for it, and yes, they showed that little trailer for the new mode. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like there's like 3 characters. It's co-op, and you have to escape from basically like a dungeon type of thing. So I don't know how much I'm going to like that mode because I'm not a big fan of, horde mode and things of that nature. So I'm expecting this to be another one of those modes that I'm not going to be particularly interested in. And the trailer itself, there was no gameplay, so I'm not particularly interested in what they showed in the trailer. I mean, it was okay to see. It got me excited until I realized they weren't going to show anything. So Gears of War 5, I have it at number 9 just because I am extremely excited for the game itself. But the trailer didn't really do anything for me to where I could put it higher up. At number 8, we have Other Worlds, which is a new game developed by Obsidian, which of course is the original creators of the Fallout series. And they also made New Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. So it's very much in a Fallout-style game. It's an RPG, and it's just like Fallout. But instead of being in a post-apocalyptic world set in the more or less, in more or less our times right now, it's set up in the future, and it looks like you can go explore a bunch of different planets throughout the universe. So that looks very, very interesting to me, and I do look forward to getting my hands on this game. And the good thing about it for me personally is that at launch it will be on Game Pass, which means that's another $70, because of course in euro it's €70. That's another €70 saved for me as a Game Pass user, and I'm very, very happy about that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy that I eventually took the plunge and went into Game Pass. I mean, of course, now with Game Pass Ultimate, I also don't have to pay for Xbox Live Gold, and the fact that I already had like 6 months left on my gold, it all goes towards not having to pay Game Pass for the next few months. So it's a very, very good deal for gamers in general, and this is one of those things that it's one of those games I was going to spend $70 on regardless, and I'm not going to spend it now because of Game Pass. So I'm very happy about that. And the game itself, we haven't really seen much about it, but it looks good. I am excited. A little bit of gameplay that we did see looks fun, and I'm just a huge fan of the Obsidian style with RPGs, so this is definitely going to be a good one for me. At number 7, we have Doom Eternal, and I've been pretty open in a lot of these videos podcasts, that I've been covering E3, that I'm not a very, very big fan of Doom 2016. I have been trying to get back into it, and I probably will be streaming it in the next few days here and there, alongside Metro Exodus, so check it out. The link will be in the description down below if you're interested. But, having seen the trailer and some of the gameplay they showed about Doom Eternal, it got me excited to play it again. So I went back into Doom 2016. I enjoyed the 45 minutes to an hour I played the other day, and I'm going to give it another chance because I think that the way I was playing Doom just wasn't the right way to do it. Doom is all about high-octane, fast-paced gameplay. Basically, I'm not going to say there's no tactics to it, but it's completely different than the type of style I usually use with FPSs, which is, take my time, wipe people out as I go on, and then move forward. So Doom is not like that. You have to be strafing at all times, 0 time stopping. You just have to fucking go at all times. Just never stop moving, and just destroy anything that comes in your way. And it's a very in-your-face type of game. Excuse me, and it's it's a type of style that's all its own. It's unlike really any other type of game or FPS you're gonna play nowadays. Maybe Quake might be similar online. Haven't played a Quake in fucking forever, since like Quake. What was it on Xbox 360, like 2006? I think it was that one. I can't remember exactly what number that is, but it was that one. So it's been a while. Unreal Tournament was similar too, but realistically, like, there are no games like it nowadays in terms of the major mainstream single player market. So this game interests me. I like the fact, like I've mentioned before, that they're also showing off Heaven. They're also showing off some other stuff that we haven't seen before. So I'm very excited to see where they carry it, and of course I'm going to try my best to finish Doom 2016 by the time this game comes out. So Doom Eternal is looking really, really good. The gameplay looks fun, and of course, as always, the music looks really, really enjoyable. So at number 7, Doom Eternal is definitely worthy of that position. At number 6, we have Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Now, this game is the return of, probably alongside Splinter Cell, my absolute favorite Ubisoft title. Now, of course, Assassin's Creed for a long time there was my number 1, but unfortunately, Assassin's Creed over the past few years, and of course, I haven't played Odyssey or Origins, so I can't necessarily talk about the last couple of games. But from Assassin's Creed Black Flag onwards, basically, they completely took the series that I really loved, took a shit on it, dumped it down the toilet, opened up the sewage pipes, pulled it back out, took another shit on it, and just repeated the process for like 6 or 7 times. That's pretty much how bad the Assassin's Creed series had become before, I guess, Origins, where they completely changed the style, and now with Odyssey, it's completely RPG, and it's a completely different type of thing, and pretty much got rid of all the Abstergo stuff, which was definitely a positive. So that's pretty much why Ghost Recon is kind of taken over as my favorite, because Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2, I think it was a phenomenal game. Like, I remember playing that game, and it was very similar to the old SOCOM Navy SEALs games, but a lot better developed. So I was extremely happy with that game. I also enjoyed playing it online quite a bit with my brother and stuff like that. So I have very fond memories of that, and I'm very happy to see Breakpoint coming back. And it looks like they're going to be changing the formula a little bit. They also brought in Jon Bernthal, who is one of my favorite actors right now, because of course the Punisher series is just so fucking good. So I look forward to seeing how he's portrayed in this game, because of course he's the main villain, and basically he runs a small group of special ops, basically ex-special ops people that are gone rogue, and essentially you have to kind of stop them, and you're the hunted. So it's looking really, really fun. I look forward to getting my hands on it, and of course the fact that Jon Bernthal, not Josh, is in the game just adds an extra element of fun to it. At number 5, I have Marvel Avengers. Now, this game, there have been a few rumors coming around as of late, over the past few days, that somebody who has inside information is saying that the game is actually pretty damn bad. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, because the trailer, while interesting, and while, looking good graphically and stuff like that, it does have a few things that kind of bother me. Now, I'm not going to go too much into it, because that would kind of take us an entire separate podcast, but it does have a few elements that kind of worry me a little bit. What I do like about it is, of course, you have a growing cast of characters, they said, so that could be good, that could also be very bad, because that could mean that, specific consoles are going to have specific characters. Let's say, for example, Spider-Man might be a PlayStation-only character, because, of course, Sony has Spider-Man already as an Xbox, as a PS4 exclusive. So that would kind of worries me. However, if that isn't an issue, and as what they mean by that is, as you play the game, you unlock more characters, and you'll have a larger team to work with in terms of the Avengers, then I'm definitely more than happy with that. And of course, if they mean that moving forward they'll add more Avengers for free, I'm very happy about that as well. Of course, they also talked about how they have a phenomenal cast of voice actors. In particular, my two favorites are definitely Nolan North and Troy Baker. Those are two guys that anytime they're in the game, they're going to put on a great performance, and whether or not the rest of the crew can hold up to their standards remains to be seen, but for a fact that those two guys are going to perform, and they are pretty much the two best voice actors in the game, as in the entire gaming industry. So I look forward to this one. It looks pretty good, to me at least. And the story starts off, or at least looks like it starts off, with the Avengers in turmoil. So I look forward to seeing a darker story than what we ended up seeing with Endgame, which a lot of people seem to like, but a lot of people also seem to think was pretty bad. I lean towards I wasn't a fan. I was expecting a lot more darkness, and I do hope to see some darkness here in Marvel Avengers, the game. So, number 4, we have Star Wars Fallen Order. Now, this game, of course, has been in development for a while now under Respawn Studios, and anytime EA is backing something, you have to kind of be worried. And I am kind of worried about this game, but for other reasons. Now, number 1, they have been showing off some quite a bit of gameplay, and the gameplay itself, in my opinion, looks really good. There are some issues. For example, as I've mentioned before, some of the colors don't really seem like they're popping as well as they should, and some of the graphics are here and there are kind of not phenomenal, I guess you could say. Not the graphics, the animations, for example. There's these little animals running across the beginning of the stage that they show, and it looks kind of bad. But those are all minor issues, and of course, it is just alpha game footage. So more than likely, they will upgrade all that stuff to make it look better, and it will be better than what we saw at the tech demo. Now, I do, like I said, really enjoy what we saw from the gameplay, and I do like Respawn Studios. So I have a lot of faith here, and the fact that they have come out and said that it's going to be 100%, only single player story, that looks really good for me. I'm excited about that, and that's positive. They did say there won't be any loot boxes, but they didn't necessarily say that there won't be any microtransactions, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, they didn't say that there won't be any microtransactions. So there might be a few things here and there that you can purchase, but as long as it's just cosmetics and nothing that really changes the game in terms of the gameplay and stuff like that, then that's all fine and dandy for me. If you want to spend your money on costumes, do your thing. If not, then that's fine with me as well. So no issues for me when it comes to that. But regardless, the game's looking good, and of course, like I said, with EA, you always have to kind of keep your shields up and be ready for a disaster, but as of right now, I'm confident the game's going to be pretty fun, and that's why it's at number 4 on my list. At number 3, we have arguably the most ambitious game on this entire list, and arguably the most ambitious game ever developed by Ubisoft. Now, what I mean by that is, never has there ever been a game in which every single person you see on the screen can be used as a character. And of course, I'm not talking about necessarily the bad guys, stuff like that. I'm talking about the characters, that NPCs and stuff like that. Well, they aren't NPCs if they are playable. So they're just the people you see around London. So pretty much, the way they've put it is that any person or any character you see walking around the city of London, you can recruit them to your team, and you can use them for pretty much the entire game. So that looks really, really interesting, and that's really, really ambitious. And one of the big things that we kind of always criticize Ubisoft about is not really taking any risks and really playing it very, very safe. With them doing that with Watch Dogs, it's kind of refreshing a series that was pretty much already dead, because Watch Dogs 1, it lost a lot of credibility after they pretty much finessed the entire world by showing at E3 an amazing demo with just amazing shadows and phenomenal looking gameplay and stuff like that. And then when the full game came out, it was a shadow of what we saw at E3. Watch Dogs 2 was, by all accounts, because I didn't play it, a pretty good game, like nothing special but also nothing terrible. But that's never really something you want to hear about a game. You want it to either be great or basically not exist at all. So that's unfortunately not really something you can say about Watch Dogs 2, but I do believe that this game has the potential of being one of the best that Ubisoft have ever produced. If it's true that you can use pretty much anything you see on the screen as a character, then that's going to be just massive. That's going to be huge for the development, I think, of gaming in general, because that's really going to add to the amount of personalization of what you can have in a single playthrough. Because let's just say I'm playing the game, and I don't know, a friend is playing a game as well, and then another friend is playing it. What I have on my team might be completely different from what both of my friends are having, or what 5 or 6 of my friends are having. It could be completely different, a completely different set of skills, completely different type of people. So let's just say, for example, I have a bunch of old dudes. Maybe somebody else has a bunch of little kids. Maybe somebody else has a bunch of old ladies. Somebody else has a bunch of teenage girls. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do, whatever demographic, whatever group of people you want to build together, you can fucking do, allegedly. So if that's the case, it's a huge thing. If not, then I'm sure they'll get called out for it once again, but they'll probably won't ever change because it is still Ubisoft, which are only a couple of levels below EA in terms of finessing their player base. At number 2, and this one is probably not surprising, but also might be surprising to some people, it's Halo Infinite. And the reason it might be surprising is because we saw a very, very small glimpse. But of course it's Halo. So anytime Halo's on the screen, whether you love Xbox, whether you hate Xbox, whether you love Halo, whether you hate it, you're gonna look at it because it is one of the defining series throughout all of gaming history. There is no game that influenced multiplayer gaming more than Halo Combat Evolved. So whatever you want to say about the series, and of course I haven't played Halo 5, which I refuse to play it because of how apparently bad it was, and I didn't want to disgrace the series, but I do have faith with Infinite because I believe that this is their opportunity to redeem themselves. Halo 4 wasn't a bad game. It wasn't a bad game. There was a lot of elements in it that were not good, but it wasn't a bad game. It was actually kind of fun to play as well, and there were some things there that were positive. Halo 5, like I said, I haven't played. I did play a lot of the betas, and I wasn't a big fan of how they were kind of Call of Duty-izing the Halo series. But I will give them another chance with Infinite, and just the fact that there is another Halo coming out at launch with the new Xbox, that just gets me extremely excited. And I really, really, really want to see what the gameplay is looking like. I want to feel it. I want to just fucking experience what the game is going to be like, and I very much look forward to having some more details. Probably, maybe this winter, but more than likely at the next E3, we'll really start to see a lot of stuff when they finally unveil how much the console itself is going to cost. And of course, there probably will be the bundle with Halo included, and I will absolutely be buying that one. So Halo Infinite, we didn't get to see much of it, but what we did see, I'm in love with it, which is no surprise considering it's Halo, and I'm a Halo nut hugger. And at number 1, it has to be Gears of War Pops. And no, I'm not fucking. Yes, I'm just kidding. Definitely not Gears of War Pops. Just like fuck the entire mobile scene as of right now, because it's really ruining. It's just fucking ruining the gaming everywhere. At number 1, the real top of the list is Cyberpunk. Like, this game, I've been waiting for this game for a while now. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I haven't played Witcher 3 yet because it's just so long. I have all the DLC and all that stuff, and unfortunately, I just don't have that much time to really dive into a game like that. And I want to dedicate it the time that it deserves. And I will be playing that hopefully up in the next couple months and really diving into it and enjoying it as much as possible. But Cyberpunk is looking phenomenal. First person, completely different type of thing than what we saw in The Witcher, but still developed by CD Projekt Red, which are a company that whether you're a big fan of The Witcher or not, you cannot deny the quality of the products they release. Everything they release is top-notch, whether it's beauty, whether it's the world itself, whether it's the dialogue, whether it's the gameplay, it's all top-notch. So, you have to be excited about Cyberpunk if you are a true gamer. So, this is just going to be a phenomenal game in my opinion. What they did show, of course, was a very, very short trailer, but they did show some clips of the gameplay, and it looks really, really good. And somebody, I think his name is Juicehead. I do follow, I've been subscribed for him on YouTube for a while now, but I haven't seen a lot of his videos recently, so that's just typical YouTube, not showing you stuff that you're actually interested in. So I did see one of his videos recently where he was talking about how him and a lot of other YouTube influencers were actually invited to a 50-minute demo, which they showed all gameplay, and a lot of the stuff that we saw in that trailer, gameplay-wise, was actually stuff that was cut from this 50-minute, more or less, demo. And he said the game is looking phenomenal. The gameplay looks great. So I look forward to this game and just I want to get my hands on it, and it's definitely deserving of being number one on this list. And I think that's pretty much the number one for just about everybody, especially because, of course, who they bring out to do the presentation? They brought out motherfucking Keanu Reeves, who is on top of the world right now. Like, everybody thought, or at least, a lot of people thought that he couldn't top how popular The Matrix was. And yet somehow, with John Wick, he has actually been able to go, I would say, probably above and beyond that. And he's just become an even bigger superstar than he already was. And by all accounts, he seems to be a really, really, really nice guy. Like, I remember who it was, but somebody was saying that, I think it was maybe Tate Fletcher or somebody like that, was talking about how he's such a nice guy that after the filming of John Wick, he organized a huge party. I think it was in Hawaii or something like that. And he pretty much reserved like this just giant place. Maybe it was like a giant resort or something like that. He reserved it all for only the cast and crew. And he actually didn't show up to the party. He stayed in his hotel room, or at least his hotel suite, whatever it is. And he watched the party from there because he didn't want to be the center of attention. He didn't want to take away the attention from the actual crew and cast, all bonding, having a great time, and kind of, maybe having them be a little bit different than what they are when he's around. So, by all accounts, he's a phenomenal guy, really, really nice, and he really seems like he's really enthusiastic and passionate about this project. So, I'm very happy to see everything we got to see about Cyberpunk, and regardless of how bad this E3 was, because it really, really was one of the worst E3s I've seen probably ever, and definitely over the past few years, it was still great to see some stars like Keanu Reeves and Jon Bernthal being involved in these massive games, and kind of showing that a lot of these major actors are moving themselves towards some gaming stuff as well, because of course we also saw Conor McGregor, who of course isn't a movie star, but he is, a big celebrity. He was in a Call of Duty game. We saw Kit Harington as the villain in I think it was Call of Duty, what was it? Not Advanced Warfare, maybe the one after that, but regardless, he was in one of those, and of course Kevin Spacey was as well. So we're seeing a lot of these huge actors moving into gaming as well. So it's great for the industry, and just great for the fans in general, because we get to see great actors at work in the genre, or in the artistic genre that we all love. So definitely, guys, thank you so much for listening. I want to know what you guys, what you have at your top 10 favorite games from E3 2019. So let me know in the comments, and definitely hit me up on social media if you guys want to talk about it there as well. I'll leave all the links in the description down below. Check me out on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, on Twitch, if you're interested in seeing some lives from me as well. And as always, guys, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. See you guys.